Alright, so unlike the last grappler I talked about Android 16 in this game, S Broly, since all of his quarter circle forward attacks aren't grabs, he it allows him to have a bigger variety of combo routes, but at the same time, I don't really know how to explain it other than it's just that he has a bigger variety of gameplay overall, and he has moves that allows him to either fight against zoners or sort of zone out the opponent, compared to someone like 16 who would struggle against zoning immensely. So he doesn't have that variety of unblockables, but well, yeah, he does. He actually has a bigger variety of individual grabs. In fact, I wonder if that's why a lot of people regard him as a better grappler than 16, because he has other tools besides his command grabs and some of his block strings. But one of the biggest flaws about Broly that persisted ever since his release is the sheer amount of startup on his standing light. Attack startup, it's -4. Yeah, it's weird how it's -4 on hit, and the startup is 10. And from a distance, it goes up to 11, literally. But the distance on it is pretty good though. Dang, attack startup 12. That's bad. His down light though also hits mid, but it's a lot faster. So if you're gonna use a light as a way to punish an opponent to start your combos, you're gonna want to use down light instead. But each of his normals cancel into each other pretty easily.
That's surprising.
Of course, if you do that specific route where you do down light into medium, they'll cancel fine, but then you won't be able to cancel into his down medium.
Not bad.
Now down medium, it hits. It's not. Wait, is it a low? Let's see. Yeah, it's a low. So what's cool is that you can do it multiple times. So how it works depends though on how you hit it. If you do it after standing medium, you can only do it up to 2 times. But if you do it on its own, you can do it 4 times. And it's weird is that if you cancel into it after his lights, then you'll get all 4 just fine. It's specifically after standing medium. Don't know why they designed it that way, but they just did. Oh, also standing medium. Well, not standing medium, but crouching medium. You can use it to cancel into his command grab. So yeah, unlike Android 16, you can use Broly's regular ground grab just fine into it. Especially with how he or she, whatever, Android 18. You see how she stays in block stun long enough. So there's still that small window where they could possibly jump out or hit you with some kind of counter. But again, it's pretty quick between his down, any of his down mediums on block into his command grab, and you can cancel any of them anytime. Not to mention, it's just fun to do. So that's like basically 4 4 medium lows all at once. Or 2 or 3. You don't have to do all 4 at once. You can just either do the first one, second one, up to 3, or all 4.
That's surprising.
And man, does that just look cool. But of course, you can't really cancel into it after the second hit of his light auto combo.
Not bad.
Speaking of which, his light auto combo looks pretty cool. But the way it hits, it's good for juggle combos. So if you decide to use it after a vanish combo, or even at some later point in a combo, it works pretty well. Whoops.
That's surprising.
If I could just get that first life to hit.
Not bad.
As far as his other moves, air light, it's pretty quick. Nothing really much to say about that. Range isn't too impressive.
You've got this.
As for air medium, has pretty good range. Pretty decent. Use it after the dash. Hit the opponent. Yeah, I'm not very good at doing that. Whereas his heavy, yeah, it has quite a bit of startup. But the range on it isn't too bad, and it's good for starting combos if you hit a ground opponent with it. And you can kind of hit it pretty late. So his lights are pretty serviceable, and or not his lights, but all of his normals on the ground and in the air, even his heavy, they are all serviceable and do their job pretty well. Now the thing with heavy, it has armor on it. Yeah, unlike Z Broly, who has armor on so many of his special and normals, S Broly, he's faster than Z Broly. It has pretty good combo routes, but he doesn't have as much armor. So that's the trade-off right there. Less armor, but better speed and combos. So with his heavy, it has, if I remember, it only has 1 hit of armor, but you can also delay it. It goes pretty far, and actually the longer you hold it, the more range, or the longer the distance. Actually, I think it's the same distance. Let me see. Yeah, it goes a bit further. But you can still delay it even during a block string. During a block string or a hit string. Don't know why during an actual hit you would wanna... I don't know why if you get the hit you would wanna delay it. But you can do it during a block string. Kind of confuse your opponent, so that way as you're doing your mediums or your lights into heavy and you delay the heavy punch, they'll think you're probably just standing there or doing some other move that has a lot of hit startup, and they'll probably try to hit you out of it, and you can hit them before they hit you, regardless if they clash with your armor or not. And you can use it for your block strings. There might be some combos, maybe some assist combos where you want to delay it a bit. But overall... Oh yeah, also his down heavy.
What's the matter?
Not only does it look cool, but it also hits a good distance above him. So some down heavies, either they don't have enough range if the opponent jumps, or they kind of work like Android 16s where they hit at a sort of diagonal angle and they could miss the opponent as well, or it would fly right past them. Android 16, if you do, not Android 16, S Broly, if you do his up close and they're jumping, even at the height of their jump, it'll still hit. So his down heavy makes for an excellent anti-air as well.
No way!
Also, one normal I want to mention is his down heavy in the air, which itself is a grab. In fact, I think he's the only one who has a down heavy like that. So on its own, like maybe in some situations you'll be able to catch the opponent with it, and obviously as you stall you can use it for starting. So it's mainly as a way of starting. Not starting, it's meant to be combo fodder, really. He does go forward a little bit, but yeah, it doesn't, like him going forward doesn't increase the range of the grab a whole lot.
What's the matter?
So you're better off doing, like, say, light into it or medium into it. Either of those.
What's the matter?
Not to mention it doesn't have it has no invincibility, so opponents can hit you out of it. Dang it. So you could get some pretty cool looking combos with that. Some, depending on the assist. But yeah, it's mainly combo fodder, but in some situations you can catch your opponent with it in an air-to-air situation. But overall, it's meant to work this kind of the same way like Super Saiyan Vegeta's down heavy works. Whoops. So like how I used Vegeta's air heavy as a way of extending his combo and knocking the opponent even higher. That's essentially what down heavy in the air is meant to be. And unfortunately you can't use it more than once. But what's cool is how far it'll toss the opponent towards the corner. In fact, let me see. So not entirely corner to corner, but very damn close. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, so like I said, nearly corner to corner. So that's also one of the best things about it is it's great for corner carry, especially if you're mid screen. As far as Ki Blast, he has the standard Ki Blast, which up to 5 times. Mash it pretty easily. There's also his down heavy. So yeah, it has 33 attack startup, but it works like other beam specials where your opponent can't dash through it, and you can also cancel into it. So it has it being a normal or down down special, instead of having like a quarter circle motion, it can be cancelled into from his key blast. If I can just get the dang timing on it. Man. So yeah, if you cancel it out of his key blast into it, it won't combo. But you can vanish out of it and cancel into his special moves from it. So it kind of get, it being a normal key blast, it kind of gets the best of both worlds. Like special move beams, it can't be dashed through, and it will beat other key blasts. But you can still use it like regular key blast, vanish, or combo extensions of some sort. So as far as what you can use it for zoning or for combos or for counter zoning, that's mainly what its main purpose is. So you can, so if your opponent has you at full screen, they're trying to use assist and whatever projectiles to fight against you, you can kind of counter zone against them. Still, it has a lot of startup though, so any projectiles, any Kamehamehas or other moves like that that come out faster, odds are if you do your attacks at the same time, his is gonna lose. But you can vanish out of it even if it doesn't hit. Trying to use that to confuse your opponent. Yeah, also the amount of startup makes it difficult to combo into, even from his mediums. Yeah, you're gonna only be able to combo into it regularly from his standing heavy. Now, is there anything else left as far as normals? Nah, time to go into his... Yeah, let's go into his special moves. So, quarter circle forward special, Omega Blast, or Gigantic Omega. He shares this move with Z Broly, but where Z Broly's move, when he throws the projectile, it kind of goes out slow at first, but then speeds up as it goes across the screen, and it goes straight across. S Broly's works as an anti-air. Let's see, you can kind of catch your opponent with it. Get your combo started. Or if you hit it up close, it's actually, what, -5? Yeah, it's supposed to also work like Z Broly's as a block string in there. So yeah, not too bad. Plus it's pretty easy to combo into. But unlike Z Broly's, where in addition to hitting it as more of an anti-air, it also has a cinematic version up close that switches sides. So depending on how you hit it and where the opponent lands on the screen, you can do that. Dang it. You can hit it and go for his level 1 on the ground, or his level 3. Whoops. Or you can do the move And
What's the matter?
it's the tiny is tricky, but you can get his OTG grab after it if you're able to hit it, try to get your opponent in the corner.
What's the matter?
Yeah, it's not that easy. Speaking of which, that'll be his next move. We go into quarter circle back S, which is another one of his many grabs in this game. So it switches sides, drags the opponent on the ground. What's cool about it is that you can't super dash cancel. And it's pretty easy to combo into. And it's supposed to be an OTG grab, as in if the opponent's in the middle of a sliding knockdown animation or of a heavy knockdown, if you move fast enough, you can grab them off the ground with it. However, so on its own, that counts as a smash attack, which allows you to super dash into it. But if you do another smash move, like his down heavy or his air heavy prior, then you can't dash cancel into it, but you can still go for his air supers or into a vanish. And if I remember, you should be able to tag your partner out. Yep. Oh, there's actually another unique normal he has that I forgot to cover, which is also a grab, his forward heavy. So he just dashes forward and hits the opponent and gives him a headbutt. So if he hits the opponent with it, well, first I want to say you can cancel out of his normals into it, but it won't combo regularly. Oops. That's where it should be able to go into. Oh no, it's the other way around. If you hit his forward heavy, you can hit his projectiles afterwards. You can do down S after it, but it won't combo naturally either. So you can go into his special moves. Unfortunately, it won't go into his grab. Not even the heavy version. But that's unfortunate. But anyway, so it can be canceled. So some of his normals, they can cancel into it. Kind of throw the opponent off. Especially, well, you should be careful because, yeah, you can cancel into it even on block, but the opponent could probably see that coming. And it could hit you out of it as he's dashing forward. But the distance on it is pretty good. Yeah, his furthest reaching grab. And even there, juggle combos, you can hit it. Wrong one.
What's the matter?
If I can get it to combo.
No way! What's the matter?
But if you hit it during a juggle combo, it sends the opponent into like a small ground bounce, so you can still combo afterwards.
Maximum power! What's the matter?
Alright, so next is quarter circle forward attack, or light, medium, and heavy, which is a ground punch he does.
What's the matter?
What's it called? Raging Quake, which can be done on the ground or in the air. And regardless if you do it on the ground in the air, the distance is always the same. You can say it has a bit more range because of the fact that he moves forward in the air. Nah, you're not really going to use the light for that. You're not really going to use light as a zoning tool. Same thing with even with medium, because of the amount of startup time. It can hit regularly, so just another move he can use to kind of fight from a distance. I'd say don't try to use heavy for that, unless you plan on hitting them with it and vanishing. But yeah, don't use heavy for that. Instead, if you hit them up close, use it for combos, because the punch itself, when it hits the ground, also has a hit point to it. So light is more of a basic combo window, either to cancel into supers or cancel into vanish, and it is the fastest. So that's a basic combo with it into a super, basic combo into a vanish. Medium comes out a bit slower, but you can still combo into it just fine. And if you hit it in the corner, it causes a wall bounce. So it's also good for ending, as a way to end or extend combos if in the corner.
What's the matter?
Oh no, apparently with the air version, yeah, if you use the medium version in the air, unfortunately you can't use it as a combo extension.
What's the matter?
Only on the ground. Whereas with the heavy, instead of knocking in towards the wall, heavy puts him in a bit of a juggle state. If you hit him up close, also.
What's the matter?
Dang, I suck at this.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
There we go. Yeah. Well, you get the basic idea. Now, is there anything else I should go over before his last special? Yeah, his air. Oh, dang, that's another move I forgot to mention earlier. His air key blast, which he just throws it at he just throws it diagonally down. So even if you super jump, it won't hit full screen. But if you hit it closer, yeah, obviously it'll hit. But
What's the matter?
so it hits twice on its own, but you can also do it in the air as part of his combos.
What's the matter?
Whoops. So getting to hit regularly, it's difficult for me, but it's good for if you use it after his air grab, though.
What's the matter?
And as you see, you can super dash cancel after it. That's one thing you can try to do. Even if you throw it out raw, hit the opponent with it, and dash in. So it can be used as a way of trying to start combos, or as a combo extension. Yeah, like I said, in some ways you can hit it after a medium in the air, but for me it's easier and more consistent doing it after a down heavy or his air guard.
What's the matter?
And yeah, there can also be a special move character, as well as super. And now, on to his main command grab, his main unblockable, and my favorite move. Let's see, what is it called? Gigantic Fury. One of the best command grabs in this game. Just slams them like a wild man. So I showed earlier how you can do his down, medium, however many times into it.
What's the matter?
And that's the light version. Let's see. Same thing with the heavy, you can also do that. Man, the animation is cool. Just beats the crap out of them.
What's the matter?
And also it leaves them in a juggle state. So unfortunately it can't be done in the air. It's a ground only move. But if your opponent is in the air, or like during a juggle combo, or if they're just in the air in general, you can do the medium version. Well, first I want to show. So the light version, 24 startup frames. Let's see, how is that compared to his other grabs? Quarter circle back S, which is 16. Down heavy in the air, which is 13. Whoa, 28 for the forward heavy. Of course, it makes sense because forward heavy has him dashing forward before grabbing the opponent. So it makes sense it has more startup time. But Gigantic Fury, its startup time being a whole 24 frames. Even the heavy version. Whereas the medium version is an anti-air grab. And actually it comes out way faster at 12 frames. So it's the go-to move for your juggle combos, besides heavy. Now, what's cool about the heavy version of this grab is that depending on where your opponent is, it'll either act like the light or the medium version. As in, since he's here on the ground, light version meant for the ground. Same thing with heavy. Because the opponent's standing on the ground, he'll reach for them as if he was doing the light version. But if they're in the air, he'll reach towards the air. Also, it kind of goes forward a bit. So slightly medium version and light version, he kind of scoots forward an inch. But heavy version goes forward a bit further So a bit more range combined with the fact that rather if he reaches at the ground or the air when you do the heavy, that's an added bonus. So it's kind of a tracking move. However, the weird thing is that he'll grab at them depending on their position prior to him doing the grab. So say for instance they're in the air and you did the heavy version, but they've already landed within those 12 frames of startup time that it has, or 24. Man. Yeah, it also affects the startup time on it. It'll either have 12 frames of startup or 24, depending on if they're on the ground or in the air when he does it. So, in other words, the heavy version, its properties change depending on the opponent in the air or on the ground. And as I was saying that, for instance, if because of its 24 startup frames, like the light version, if I do it while they're standing on the ground, if I activate it, then sure, yeah, they're suddenly in the air, but because I activated the move while they were on the ground, he'll still reach for them as if doing the light version. So I just activated the light version, or not the light, I activated the heavy while they're on the ground. They jump, so now instead of grabbing them at the air, because they did jump at the air, when I activated the move, they were on the ground. So he'll still reach for them on the ground. Same thing if they're in the air. If I reach for them while they're technically jumping, but they manage to land, he'll still be reaching for the air. So that's something to be mindful of when you do his command grab, at least the heavy version. Although one thing that's cool with his grab is that it's good for at the end of combos if your opponent is in the corner and they don't recover or they don't try to. Let me just show you if I can. So I used the Quarter-Circle Forward Light or Raging Quake. Then I went for his medium or anti-air grab and it managed to grab him. So that's one cool trick. If they don't dash out of the way, then you can end a corner combo with Raging Quake and then go for his command grab as soon as they recover. There is one weird thing about this move though. If you do it raw, then you get the full cinematic, all 5 hits. But if you use a smash attack prior, yeah, this should be easier. Yeah, you only get 3 hits, and he won't toss him into the wall. But he does get a sliding knockdown from it. Whoops. Yeah, if I can get the hit properly. But it does make it easy going into his OTG grab. So yeah, you won't get as much damage from it when you combo into it after a smash attack, because he'll only do 3 hits instead of all 5. But you can still, it still does its purpose, even in combos. So that makes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 grabs. So yeah, out of the grapplers, and not Android 16, Broly has the most variety of individual grabs. Of course, if you count each version of his Gigantic Fury, Quarter-Circle Back, Light, Medium, and Heavy as separate grabs due to their different properties, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6 grabs. Again, if you count his Gigantic Fury, his main grab, as 3 separate ones. Unfortunately, none of it, unlike Android 16, but also like Z Broly, he doesn't have any unblockable supers. But he does have a whole bunch. Probably about, I think the most supers in the roster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll go with the first one, Meteor Shower. For this one, he activates, he shoots a bunch of key blasts around him, but then they come back and hit on the ground, kind of like Kid Boo's Human Extinction level 1. And it can be performed on the ground or in the air. So there are some, I'm not really good at using it for combos, but there are some kind of intricate combos and combo extensions you can get with it if you hit it properly. But this is the only super he has that can be done ground or air. His other level 1, the one you'll probably be using the most often, quarter circle forward, right bumper. 22 attack startup. But it's good for a full screen punish since it goes across the whole screen. It does switch sides though, so just be mindful of that. So you can use it, combo into it, and it gets you out of the corner. Although it almost takes you all the way to the other side of the screen. Kind of weird how that works. Yeah, it puts your opponent mid-screen. And easy to combo into. Whoops.
What's the matter?
So you can use it to catch opponents who are probably spamming projectiles, trying to punish you full screen. You can punish them full screen, and it's one of his easier supers to combo into, or one of his easier level ones. And there's also another level 1 he can do that's air only. What's this one called? Gigantic Impact.
What's the matter?
So by default, if you activate it while you're in the air, he'll go across the screen. What's weird is that if you activate it, yeah, he'll go diagonally, but you can also change what direction he goes in after the first dash. Basically, any of the 8 directions you want to go into, he'll go in that direction. Same thing with this, he has 2 follow-ups where he'll dash and hit the opponent. Whoops. So you have to hit a direction and press any of the attack buttons, and he'll dash in 3 different directions. It's 3 times, and it's also a pretty easy combo to get into. Whoops. Yeah, don't wait too long before canceling into the next dash. But also has a follow-up to it. Press either right trigger or right bumper again, and he will combo into another one, which is Omega Blaster, I mean. And that's all that's really meant to be. It will use another bar, so you'll need 2 bars for it. But it's also a way where if you're doing an air combo and you do his air super, but you want to bring the opponent to the ground, you can do that. And go for extra damage. I'll go for this one. Dang, like I said, don't want to delay too long before each dash. And bring in your partner. So good for DHC setups as well. So Meteor Shower, the only super that can be done either in the air or on the ground. That's more of a setup type sort of super. Whereas quarter circle forward right bumper, either the air or the ground version.
What's the matter?
Those are the ones that are good for comboing. As far as ending
What's the
combos.
matter?
And now for his level 3, one of my favorite level 3s in the game. And what's it called? Whoops. Gigantic Roar. So if you hit it from full screen, it won't go full screen, but it does bring him pretty close to the opponent. So you just have to be a little bit closer. So it hits almost full screen. And look at that. You know that looks awesome. And it's very easy to combo into him. Look, breaks his armor and he gets an electric aura. Or sparkling aura. You know what I mean. So the way this works is that if he hits his level 3, then for the rest of the match, he gets an added 5% damage bonus. Basically, every attack he does, it's 5% extra damage for each normal now. So let me show his basic light auto combo. Actually be easier if I do this. Alright, so his hopeful light auto combo. $2,907. About as much damage as a level 1. And here's his light auto combo in its default state with his armor on. Whoops. Dang it. 2,770. So almost an extra 200 points more if he has his armor shed. And it's very easy to combo into. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is his quarter circle forward, gigantic omega. Oh, not gigantic omega. What the hell is it called? Eraser blow. Dang it. But anyways, it's also the only other move he has that has a hit of armor. But just like his standing heavy, it also has only one hit of armor. So yeah, unlike Z Broly, he's not just rolling in the armor on his normals and specials, but he does have a few, and they're easier to utilize in Android 16's armor, that's for sure. So in a way, he's kind of like an in-between between Android 16 and Z Broly. He has armor that's easier to utilize, kind of like Broly, easier than Android 16. He's fast, maybe slightly, I want to say slightly slower than Android 16. But that is debatable. It is debatable between the two who's faster. But they are faster than Z Broly in general. And he also gets very good damage on his combos. And also, unlike Android 16, because he also has a wider variety, not just of throws, but also special moves and normals. So if you want that grappler who has plenty of gimmicks on his own, has good speed, good range on his normals, and plenty of variety on his combo routes, then yeah, you would definitely want to play S Broly. And that's what makes him my favorite character in the game and my favorite grappler. Just the variety of throws he has. Variety of throws, combo routes. A lot more, definitely just more variety compared to Android 16 and Z Broly. I don't think I have any more to say as far as any basics to go over with him. And that'll be the end of this video. Next one, I'll go over the last grappler. Well, Z-Broly, because there's only 3 grapplers in this game, unfortunately. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope y'all have a good day. See y'all, talk to y'all in the next video.